What's going on, guys? The polar vortex finally broke here in the great state of Iowa. It's like a heat wave at the moment. It's like 40 degrees out. So we had to get out today in the greenhouse, and I got to thinking, it's a little early to be planting stuff in my area, but flowers take a bit longer, and that is honestly the number one thing that when we don't buy that many plants anymore since we own the greenhouse. But the one thing that we do spend money on each spring seems to be flowers. And the main reason being is I just don't start them early enough. And that's just my fault. So I had to get out of the house today. I was driving everybody nuts. The wife and the kiddo, they went ice skating with some cousins, which is great. Just out here. So I'm not exactly sure what flowers I'm going to plant. And I'll tell you what, I quit using cells, like the individual cell packs for flowers last year. I just take a pack of seeds now and I sow the whole flat. And then what I do is when they get a certain age, I'm confident enough now. I used to be so meticulous about worrying about hurting the plants. Anymore, I've planted so many plants now that I realize they're pretty durable and they can handle a little bit of handling. So I just pull individual starts out and then I'll up pot them is what I'll do. And that's how we're going to do it this year. Dug the old heat mat out. These will be going inside, which I'll take in there too when I'm done. Also, tried my first ever wood carving today with chainsaw wood carving. I would say I definitely did not nail it. It's supposed to be a bear and a log. I kind of gave up on it. I got some wet wood. I can see a bear in there. Maybe round it off a bit, but that's attempt one at wood carving, which I totally want to get into this spring, and we will. We'll explore that too as we go. I've been following a couple great guys, especially one guy up in Canada that does these little tutorials, and I've always wanted to do it. I didn't know where to start. Started watching his vids, and just, you know, the best way to learn is just by doing. So let me get these plants, these flowers started, and we'll go from there. See you in a bit. All right, guys, we're inside. Brought a few flats in. Ended up doing chrysanthemums, a melee of different perennials, and then a pack that I'm actually going to start for my brother Dustin, his wedding. They give out flower seeds in like a basket when you sign in or whatever, their guest book. So I grabbed a bunch of them. I'm going to start them some flowers. They just had a baby, first year of marriage. And then I got some more flats out back. These are coleuses, I think. We call them the brain in our house. But I wanted to show you guys my light system that I built. This is what I was talking about. These are Cree CXB 3590s. These are in the 4000 color spectrum. Just two of them going for the time being. I guess I could fire the whole thing up. I need to dress up the wiring. Hold on, doing this one-handed. Dress up the wiring, build it. I'm gonna actually be building a different frame. As you can see though, these are super bright lights. I mean, the intensity is insane. But the way I did it is I bought big enough heat sinks, and then with thermal paste, you put the LED directly onto the aluminum heat sink, and you don't need a fan because the heat sinks are big enough that it dissipates the heat. So I'll have a bunch of flats down here. And then this is another hybrid LED version I'm working on. That thing is crazy because I only drive these at 50 watts. This one I drive at 75 because I have a 12-volt fan on it to cool the heatsink. I can really, that thing's insane. Looks like a UFO in my greenhouse tonight when I fire it up. But then I put 4-foot shelves in here too. And then I have 4-foot T5 lights. So I fill all these up with flats of plants as well. So couple weeks, this whole area will be nice and green. Got a little fan going. And then what I also do is I have an inline squirrel fan, nothing fancy. Bought it from Home Depot for like 20 bucks. I run a little bit of ducting in this whole closet, and I pump it out the top of the frame that goes into my bathroom actually, just to have a little bit of airflow, just fresh oxygen. And when you're watering seedlings a lot, you don't want a lot of moisture. They'll dampen off, and too much moisture can be a bad thing. So anyways, this is the inside, and then maybe I'll fire that up later and show you guys how that looks. Have a good one. All right, guys, I decided to bring this out, the DIY Chinese 100-watt LED build that I did on this LED. I think I did 4 of these, but I saw this one laying in my little electrical tub inside on my back porch, so I grabbed it and I brought it down. I was talking about it in the video before. And I just thought I'd show you how bright this thing actually is. Now keep in mind, we're in the middle of the day here in Iowa. And this thing just blasts the camera. I mean, it's insanely bright. As you can see, this one has a 12-inch fan. So I actually drive it at 75% efficiency. So that's a 100-watt chip pulling 75 watts, which is really, it's probably about the max you want to drive these without overheating and burning up the chip. But I think I'm going to hang 4 of these in the greenhouse here, and it'll be like a UFO at night. I don't know, I'm not sure if I need that many. I might just do 1 or 2 from the ceiling. We'll see. But I'll show you what this thing looks like when it's actually unplugged. Give me a second here. I'm working one-handed. But there's the chip, the little driver, and then this is actually just hooked up off a, ooh, that's not good, off a 12-volt fan, computer fan on that heatsink to cool the chip. So all in all, this thing rocks. These things really jam, and yeah, they were cheap. I think I paid, gosh, I think 4 of them end up costing me like 42 bucks with parts and everything. I just put them together myself. Little soldering iron, little thermal paste to put on the heatsink, etc. Used a couple old phone chargers from Nokia's, and we were good to go. Anyways, these things are incredible. Peace.